Until I was like, you know what? He goes, I can tell that you're eating. And I also had something that I just told me to truck anyways. I forgot to put out. The Wi-Fi he gave me like $40. Well, it's cheap here. He has like 5 here. And he goes, oh. He goes, if you ever need anything, take it. That's a question. Just leave it. I was like, okay.
I'm ready to get out of that.
Like, you got like a bunch of paint or
Go left.
paint, like,
I want to go left.
beat up furniture, like, awesome.
Better be ready as soon as I see what's happening.
This time, she needs a car.
Actually, you better be going so she doesn't have to move the seat.
And you know, it's just like,
Then you must play Max for me.
Huh?
Then you must play Max.
Sonny.
he's got like 5 songs.
I'm just riding on the phone.
Really whole plan. And so, like, alright, go get yourself some of this.
Carry Cheeto.
Huh?
Carry Cheeto. Hey, you're getting up.
Huh?
Hey, you're getting up. How much did Donnie get taken off? Why did you give him that? His hair's so long though. Yeah.
You get it?
No. Don't think you do. Donnie, can you finish this match for me?
You know what the basement logo looks like? Yeah. You ever seen there or?
You see what?
Oh, good looking boy. Good looking little turd.
Oh, did I
Touch
say
me.
that?
Don't touch me. Don't touch me.
Stand up real quick. You can play your game. I just want to be inside. Oh, that's good, man. That looks good, big head.
Touch me. Don't touch me.
Yeah.
You put it in there so that you hit the button.
How can we help you? I've got an appointment. Brian. You see me there?
good.
Don't push me. I said, don't push me.
Oh my god, I was murdering your dad so hard. I was murdering so hard.
See, it'll be 55 degrees next month when I come back.
Take a picture of your hair like Sentinel.
1 second. I just need to kill this kid right here. Come here, bud. Bye.
Stop. Look at that.
No. That hurt. It hurt me.
I like how short your hair is.
In the car. What?
So here is a jacket, so you stay warm.
I heard of who, what, where, when is your jacket. Oh my fucking God. I can make it better. This is me. I can make it with some this. Give me some more energy. And I need some of this. Let it go. Soccer. Soccer. I'm in line.
Dirty pants. My pants. Unless you're not gonna be clean before. I'm done.
No, I don't have that stuff.
Why is that motorcycle always right there? Nothing. He's gonna play Fortnite anyway.
Yes, I can.
Yeah. Right.
On October 11th, Jexy, find the fastest route to work, is here to help with traffic.
Turn left on Market Street.
There's 6 lanes of traffic.
Buck, 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 buck.
Let's start off being honest right off the bat. I have no idea what this video is. I just had a random idea in my head. What if I tried to make a video that has literally no point to it? So here we are. Over the course of like a month or two, I started jotting down some of the random things that have crossed my brain and stuff along that line. Not the kind that are philosophical or have a deeper meaning, just the stupid ones. This video might change the way you view me as a person. Whatever, I don't care. Let's get started. I was going through my phone contacts the other week, and I was like, you know what? I want to get rid of the people I don't really need to have in here. Some contact spring cleaning. So I started deleting people I've never talked to, and the further in I got, the more I was thinking, who are these people? Where'd they even come from? Jacob Acorn? I've never met a Jacob Acorn before, the frick? And then there'd be people where I only added their first name. Ashley, I'm assuming Newberry? Yeah, delete. I don't talk to her. Oh, wait, wrong Ashley. Well, I accidentally just permanently erased some other Ashley from my life. Also, that whole process made me realize I have way less friends than I thought I did. Like, I didn't have too many to begin with, but I deleted a lot more people than I thought I would, and my contact list is far smaller than it was before. What if dogs were the humans of the earth? Like, instead of a human society, it was dogs. What would they create? Would they build a government? What would their education system be? Would they create dog hobbies and dog sports? I'm not talking about the typical throwing frisbees and tennis balls. Maybe they'd create a game where they wear face harnesses with a scoop that can hold a ball, and they have to toss the ball into a hole on opposite sides of the court, each hole providing a different amount of points depending on its difficulty. Kind of like soccer or football combined with basketball. And there's teams, so they need to strategize and work together to win against the other dogs. Would they create art and music and invent things? Do they have passions that we couldn't think of? Like, if humans were just a wild animal, it would be much harder for us to realize that, say, playing a saxophone was your passion, because, wild animals can't invent saxophones, silly. So you'd never discover that side of yourself. But what if dogs could discover their passions and creative sides like humans? I'd want to go to a dog art museum and see what kind of art they'd make. Aren't you curious? If dogs had the intelligence and creativity of humans, what would they do with it? Could they run Earth better than we are? In a weird way, I'd kind of hope so. In horror movies, why is it always the piano that's the haunted, pretentious, scary instrument? I've seen the scenarios where pianos play themselves, the keys are smashed down to make a really ugly sound, maybe the occasional lid will slam down and kill someone. Is it because people see them as elegant yet ominous at the same time, setting up a good atmosphere? I want to watch a horror movie where instead of walking into a big empty room with a haunted grand piano in the center, a character walks into a big empty room and sees a ghost playing. I'd be much more engaged in a movie like that. Just saying. Why does nobody talk about half-popped popcorn kernels? They're just as good as the full-popped ones. After you've consumed 97% of your popcorn, you get to the kernels at the bottom, and instead of throwing them all away, you should crunch on the ones that are semi-popped. Heck! If you don't eat the half-popped kernels, you're missing out on some of the best things in life. One time I was at the grocery store getting groceries. Yeah, great script right in there, Jaden. That was poetic. And at the checkout, I could tell the cashier was new at her job. Not like she was doing everything wrong, but you could see she didn't have the fluid motion down of a professional grocery store scanner. Those people have it down like it's an art form. It's beautiful in a strange way. So she was scanning the things, and she got to the cilantro. You probably know this, but you can't just put a barcode sticker on cilantro. I think some stores will wrap a tag around it, but the place I was at just had a serial code that the cashier had to manually punch in. So the girl was flipping through the book that had all the serial codes in it, and she couldn't find the cilantro code. I've never mentally connected so much with a stranger before, because I knew exactly what was going on in her head. She was trying to quickly find the code because she didn't want to feel like she was taking up time by being slow, but in the stress of trying to quickly find the cilantro, her brain was getting frantic, which made her gradually start internally freaking out even more because she felt like she was taking way too much time trying to find the code, repeat cycle getting more and more intense every time, and maybe after a minute of her trying to find the code, she just silently put the cilantro in the bag. She gave me free cilantro out of panic. It was a good day. Also, did you know there's a website dedicated to hating cilantro? www.ihatecilantro.com. They write haikus. Stressing about a close deadline is kind of relaxing in a sociopathic kind of way. We've all done it. You procrastinated a bunch on a project and are in the phase of crap, because it's due tomorrow and it's already 10:45 p.m. and you've only got like 0% done. But if you think about it, it's kind of nice to see it as, well, I'm totally stressed and panicked out of my mind right now and would rather just self-implode, but this feeling is only gonna last for a few more hours since the deadline's so close. If you didn't wait until the last minute, it would have been a less intense but drawn out feeling of dread while working, versus this approach, which even though is 10 times more mentally and emotionally draining and likely very bad for your health, only has to last for like one day, maybe even 12 hours if you really push it, so pick your battles. But don't say I told you which one to choose. I'm not responsible for any crummy projects you haphazardly spit out. That's still you. My parents' house had really big windows in the living room, and sometimes birds would fly into them. Most often, hummingbirds. Whenever one did,
we're going back to a place where anything can kill ya! So polish your shield, sharpen your axe, we're going back to vanilla!
Alright, we just got up here. It's a beautiful view. What do you think, James?
This is James. He's an animator here on YouTube, and we recently found out we watched each other's videos.
That's good, it's good. Yeah, it's good.
I watch his stuff because he's a pretty funny guy.
James, what's up? Do a meme. Here comes that boy.
We met at VidCon, and since then we've made some stuff together.
You should always stay in school, kids. Right, Dave?
Prancer, I'ma go insane here.
But no one really watched it, so we decided to make a proper song instead.
You made a song before, James?
I've never made a song. I mean, maybe as like a toddler, you'd like start singing.
Do you remember any of those?
Probably was just incoherent babbling.
Well, we can go that route.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So first we needed an idea.
We got a few ideas. What's the one we're working on at the moment?
It's about a guy who tries to be happy because the feeling of existentialism in the world ending and the fact that he's going to die one day is like forcing him to be happy and cheerful, basically.
Yeah.
So then we had to come up with a bunch of things that made us sad. And we started with a goal of 8 things for each of the 3 verses.
24 things.
24 things in total. 24 things to think about, to be sad about.
Yeah. I do not think we're going to struggle.
So that was the serious topic we decided on, the existential dread that we all have.
When you were a kid, every adult you saw on TV, you're going to probably outlive them.
Third world countries thing, yeah. Oh, I know a great one. 80% of happiness is genetic.
Oh, really?
That's a statistic.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, so then did I just get bad genes or something?
Is that normal?
Yeah, the tree's screaming Arizona.
Okay. I find that interesting that you're an artist, but your handwriting is messy.
How dare you? I could be like, the sunshine, and you could be like, the sun's going to explode.
Yeah. Just say one aspect of it is meeting friends.
Yeah.
So,
meeting friends, and then he's going to...
All of your friends will die.
Yeah.
I like that.
Ooh. I feel like we could talk about, like, racism. I think that would be one of, like, the negative thoughts.
Thanks for clarifying that, James.
I worked hard to get this job. Like, statistically, people with white names are more valuable than black names and stuff like that.
Oh, I can talk about this one. There was a study where they gave CVs to a bunch of different jobs with either stereotypically white or stereotypically black names, and the ones that were stereotypically black were hired significantly less, which is one of the strongest studies I've seen talking about race issues holding people back, at least in America, because the rest of the world, the race is not an issue whatsoever. But yeah, where were we?
What if we talk about cancer?
Cancer, that's right. Please continue.
You could wake up with cancer.
You could wake up with cancer. That's a great one. This is so funny. I don't know. I love this stuff so much. A lot of kids are gonna see this as well.
This might be the thing that like wakes them up. Existentialism. Sorry, kids. Oh, like he like learns about like American history, and it's like American history was built on like oppressive.
Yeah. The funny thing is, we don't need to be specific because every single country in the world was built on exploitation.
Yeah, I could be here all night just thinking of horrible ideas.
Yeah, just go to sleep.
I try sleeping after this.
So then we went to sleep, and after that we decided to do some research to make sure we weren't completely out of touch and to check whether our existential crises were relatable enough.
It takes a Titan to go the extra mile. America's best truck warm.
I'm sort of stealing this idea from Jaden Animations. Wait, no, that's not right. I'm not stealing it. I'm plagiarizing it. Jaden did a video talking about random thoughts she had, and you should all go watch it. And I thought, hey, I think randomly sometimes. So Jaden, is it all right if I make a video about my random thoughts? I hope you say yes, because I just did. What is happiness? Well, it's a chemical in your brain. And how do you get that chemical? Well, it's just a little something I like to call drugs. I think humans make fun of hairless animals way too much. We think that all hairless animals are ugly. Just go to Google Images and type in hairless animal, and you'll probably think the animals you see there are ugly as well. But we all seem to forget that we're hairless animals too. If anything, other animals should think that we're ugly. So I look at this phenomenon and I have a theory. I think we humans find things covered in hair more cute. We're more attracted to things covered in hair. And that's why I'm a furry. My dad never taught me how to shave, and one time I cut myself shaving right above my lip, and for the rest of the day, all I could smell was blood. I don't know why I mentioned the dad part. You know how websites will ask you to type in a bunch of misshapen letters to make sure you're not a robot? That's called a CAPTCHA. And some of those CAPTCHAs are impossible. Sometimes I look at a CAPTCHA and think, am I a robot? I just wanted to send some email. I didn't want to question my identity. I wasn't ready for an existential crisis, Club Penguin. Sorry, that joke is dead. Just like Club Penguin. So here's the random thought. What if we lived in a robot society and robots had to prove that they weren't human to make a Facebook account? I think their CAPTCHA would be an optical illusion. Like to sign into a website, it'll show 2 lines and say, prove you're not a human, which line is bigger? Optical illusions are like CAPTCHAs for people. Every time you paint a room, it gets a little bit smaller. And if it takes you 1 can of paint to paint an entire room, then the room gets smaller by 1 can of paint. You brought a can of paint inside the room and you never took it out. Every time you smell something, molecules from that thing get sucked up into your nose, and that's how you're able to smell it. So that means every time you smell something, it gets a tiny bit lighter. Do archaeologists have lingo and jokes that only other archaeologists will understand? Like there's a whole other world of jokes that I won't get to experience because I'm not an archaeologist. Like one day 2 archaeologists could be digging a hole and one says, I'm not finding anything. And then the other guy says, well, you know what they say in the archaeology business. And I don't know what they say because I'm not an archaeologist. How about we look up jokes for archaeologists? Why did Robin Hood pull out of the archery contest? He found it an harrowing experience. Okay, get that one? It just wasn't that funny. Nor was it about archaeology. Or maybe it was and I just don't get it. We'll never know. Where did Caesar keep his armies? Up his sleeveys. Okay, I had to get this one explained to me, but armies is supposed to be your arm, like your body arm, and your armies go up your sleeveys. Get it? Except Julius Caesar wore a toga, so he didn't even have sleeves. And you could just say this about anyone who had an army. Where did Hitler keep his armies? Up his sleeveys. Oh, ha ha ha. When you ask someone what time it is, sometimes they'll say it's 1:45 blank. And first off, I really hate that way of telling time, because now I have to use math just to know what time it is. Someone will say it's 7:45.